She said, "Your cooking sucks anyway." So I stopped cooking for her. 3 weeks later, her apology came with tears. I've always been the one who cooked. Not because my girlfriend, Lena, couldn't, but because I genuinely loved it. After work, I'd unwind by chopping vegetables, playing music, and filling our apartment with the smell of garlic and butter. It wasn't a chore for me. It was love made visible. And she used to love it too. Every "this is amazing, babe" made my day. But things changed gradually. She got promoted, started working longer hours, and somehow, I became the house boyfriend, even though we both worked full-time. I didn't mind doing more until she started expecting it. Dinner became my job. Then one night, I came home late after helping a friend move. I was exhausted, sweaty, and starving. Lena was sitting on the couch scrolling through her phone. When she looked up and saw the empty table, she frowned. "Where's dinner?" I laughed weakly. "Didn't have time today, sorry. I thought we could order in." She rolled her eyes. "Of course. You forget one simple thing and the whole day falls apart." I blinked. "Seriously? I've cooked every night this month." And that's when she said it. Sharp, dismissive, like she'd been waiting to. "Your cooking sucks anyway." The words hit harder than they should have. Not because she insulted my food, but because I realized how easily she could trash something I'd done out of love. I stood there for a moment, just looking at her. Then I smiled slightly and said, "You're probably right." She smirked, thinking she'd won that tiny argument. But I made a decision right then. No more dinners. No reminders. No shared plates. No table set for two. The next evening, when I cooked, I plated one meal. Mine. She looked surprised when I sat down and started eating. "Oh, where's mine?" she asked. I shrugged. Didn't want to serve bad food again. She laughed it off at first, thinking I was joking. But I wasn't. And for the next 3 weeks, I didn't cook for her once. 3 weeks. That's how long it took for silence to become normal in our kitchen. The first few nights, Lena didn't care. She joked about it. "Guess I'll have sushi again." Or more Thai takeout, my favorite. Pretending she was totally fine with it. She posted photos of her food, adding captions like, "No need for a man who can't cook," with laughing emojis. But I could see it. The small cracks forming. It started when she realized takeout every night wasn't fun anymore. The smell of stale containers replaced the scent of rosemary and garlic. The kitchen, once alive with conversation and sizzling pans, was cold and lifeless. I still cooked every evening, but just for me. A single portion, one plate, one glass. And every time she came home to see me quietly eating alone, something in her expression faltered. She'd stand there awkwardly, pretending to scroll through her phone, as if the emptiness between us didn't bother her. But her tone softened. She started trying to make small talk. "Smells good," she'd mumble. "Yeah," I'd reply simply. One evening, she came home early, earlier than usual, and hovered near the stove while I cooked. "What are you making?" "Chicken piccata," I said, without looking up. "Can I have some?" she asked. I glanced at her, half smiling. I thought my cooking sucked. Her face froze for a moment. She forced a laugh. "Come on, don't be petty." "Petty?" I turned off the heat and faced her. "Lena, you didn't just criticize dinner. You dismissed everything I did, like it didn't matter. You made me feel like some fool trying too hard." She crossed her arms defensively. "I didn't mean it like that." "Then how did you mean it?" She didn't answer, just stood there, staring at the floor. After that, she started coming home later. Some nights, she didn't even bother to eat with me. She'd grab something on the way or skip dinner entirely. Our conversations became mechanical. "Did you pay the electricity bill?" "Yeah." "Okay." And that was it. Then one night, around 11 p.m., she walked into the kitchen looking drained. Her hair was messy, her eyes tired. She dropped her purse on the counter and muttered, "I'm so sick of eating alone." I paused, setting down my glass. "So am I." For a long moment, we just looked at each other, two people standing in the wreckage of something we used to enjoy. She sighed, stepping closer. "I didn't mean what I said. I was angry and I guess I wanted to hurt you a little." I didn't respond. She continued, her voice cracking slightly. "You always took care of things. You never complained. And I guess I stopped appreciating that. I thought love just stayed on autopilot." There it was, honesty. Finally. But honesty doesn't undo the damage. It only highlights it. "I get it," I said quietly. "But you can't treat love like a restaurant. You don't insult the chef and expect service with a smile." Her eyes shimmered, and she looked down. So what now? I shrugged. Now? I cook for myself. You decide what you want. She nodded slowly, biting her lip. Okay. That night, she went to bed early. And as I cleaned my single plate, I realized something. It wasn't about food anymore. It was about respect. She didn't lose my cooking. She lost the warmth that came with it. Update 1.it was a quiet Sunday afternoon. The kind of day that used to mean slow mornings, music in the kitchen, and the smell of pancakes. Now it was just the sound of my fork against a plate and the faint hum of the fridge. I'd gotten used to it. The silence didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt earned. Then I heard the door creak open. Hey, Lena said softly. I didn't look up. Hey. She stood there for a few seconds, holding something behind her back. When she finally stepped forward, I saw a grocery bag in her hands. Eggs, flour, lemons, and butter. My ingredients. She smiled weakly. I thought I'd make that lemon chicken thing you always do. I leaned back, arms crossed. You don't like my cooking, remember? Her face crumpled just a little. I didn't mean that. I know. I was just angry. You forgot dinner, and I took it personally. It was stupid. She exhaled, setting the bag down on the counter. You always made time for me, and the one time you didn't, I made it a whole thing. I wanted to feel important, and I ended up feeling small. That line hit harder than I expected. For the first time in weeks, she wasn't defensive. She was vulnerable. I've been eating trash food for weeks, she continued, forcing a smile. You were right. Takeout isn't love. It's just noise. I finally stood up and walked toward her. Lena, it's not about dinner. You know that, right? She nodded quickly. Yeah, it's about how I made you feel disposable. Like everything you did was just expected. I forgot that love isn't about convenience. There was a long silence between us. Not tense, just real. Then she said quietly, I miss us. And maybe, for the first time, I believed her. But I also knew something had shifted inside me, something that couldn't be undone. Lena, I said, choosing my words carefully, I forgave you a long time ago. But forgiving isn't the same as forgetting. You broke something that doesn't just glue back together. She looked down, tears forming. Can I at least try to fix it? I sighed, soft but honest. You can try, but don't do it for me. Do it because you finally see what you had. She nodded slowly, whispering, I do. I really do. That evening, she cooked. It wasn't perfect. The chicken was overcooked, the sauce a little sour, but it was hers. When she set the plate in front of me, she said quietly, Thank you for teaching me how to care again. I took a bite, smiled faintly, and said, It's a start. She smiled back, relieved, but I could tell she knew. Something had changed permanently. I wasn't the same man who used to cook for her out of habit. Now, I only shared meals and love with people who understood what they were worth. Final update point 3 months passed. 3 months of peace. 3 months of learning to enjoy my own company. Of cooking for one and realizing that sometimes solitude is the most honest dinner companion. Then, one Saturday night, my phone buzzed. Lena, can we talk? Just once. No drama. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it. The other part, the one that still remembered the sound of her laughter echoing through my kitchen, knew that some stories need a proper ending, not silence. So I said, Me. Sure. Same place as before. She agreed. The restaurant hadn't changed. Same dim lights, same quiet jazz, same scent of roasted garlic and butter in the air. The only difference was me. I walked in with calm instead of nerves. She was already there when I arrived. Her hair was shorter, her eyes tired but softer. When she saw me, she smiled like someone who's been holding their breath for too long. You look good, she said. Thanks. You do too. The waiter came, we ordered drinks, and for a few moments, we just sat there in the comfort of old memories that didn't hurt anymore. Then she spoke. I saw your post last week. The cooking class you hosted. I nodded. Yeah, I've been teaching on weekends. People seem to like learning that food can fix more than hunger. She smiled faintly. That's so you. Then her voice cracked slightly. I should have seen it sooner. You weren't cold. You were patient. You were just waiting for someone who didn't make you apologize for caring. There it was, the truth she'd never said before. She continued, You always said love was about showing up. I didn't. And you stopped asking. That's on me. I looked at her for a long time, not angry, not bitter, just understanding. Lena, I said quietly, you don't owe me an apology anymore. I just hope whoever you're with now listens when you talk about food, about love, about all the little things. Because those little things were never little. She nodded slowly, a tear rolling down her cheek. I'm not with anyone, she whispered. I tried, but no one makes silence feel safe like you did. That line hit deeper than I expected. But before I could respond, the waiter came back with a plate of pasta. It was the restaurant's special, the same dish I once recreated at home for her birthday. She stared at it, then at me, and we both laughed quietly at the coincidence. Or maybe it wasn't one. I picked up my fork, twirled a bit of pasta, and said, funny thing about food, it never lies. You can always taste what someone felt when they made it. She smiled through tears. What did you feel when you cooked for me? Hope, I said simply. And when I stopped cooking, I finally felt peace. For a moment, she didn't move. Then she whispered, she's lucky, whoever she is. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Because just then, my phone buzzed again, a message lighting up the screen. Maya picked up the wine and dessert. See you soon, Chef Redheart. Lena saw it. She smiled, a real one this time. Tell her she's got herself a good man, she said softly. I think she already knows, I replied. We stood up, hugged briefly. It wasn't romantic, it was closure, the kind that leaves no bitterness behind. When I got home, Maya was already in the kitchen, barefoot, humming while stirring sauce on the stove. She turned, saw me, and said, You're late? Dinner's almost ruined. I laughed, walked over, kissed her forehead. Then let's ruin it together. And in that simple, quiet moment, surrounded by the smell of garlic and warmth, I realized something. Love isn't about perfect meals or flawless timing. It's about who still wants to eat with you, even when the food burns. Because in the end, the dinner table never lies.